Welcome. Today we have Jennifer Addabbo with us. She is CEO and co-founder of CU Engage. And she's here to discuss the keys to successfully engaging third-party vendors. Jennifer has been supporting credit union success for more than 15 years. Jennifer, welcome, and thank you for spending time with Credit Union Digest.
Thanks, Larry. I'm happy to be here.
Great, great. All right, well, good. Thank you for being here. And so, as you know, more and more credit unions are seeking to improve their products and service offerings to their members, but may not be exactly sure of how to get started. From your perspective, what is the best approach for a credit union to get started in this area?
You know, honestly, I think first I would take inventory of what the current services are at the credit union and compare that to, as consumers, as individuals, how you might interact with other financial institutions, and the kind of compare and contrast what the credit union is able to deliver versus maybe what other financial institutions or even other service industries, your doctor's office, your, insurance companies, your cell phone company, how you interact with them as a consumer. And as a credit union executive, don't forget that you're a consumer also. So I would probably start there. The other is ask your team and ask your members. So often when we get involved with credit unions in helping form their strategic plans and the vision of where they want to take the organization, we enlist stakeholders from various areas of the company and also various levels. And you'll be surprised that you might get insights from some of the folks that you might not normally have at the table for those discussions, but because they're so in tune with what the members are looking for day in and day out, whether they're in the call center or in the branches, they're really going to give you some perspective that as a credit union executive, you might not think of immediately. And same thing with your membership. Oftentimes we just want to focus on NPS scores and kind of that rating and ranking to understand what our members think about us. But if you reach out to, a group of your members and ask them what's missing, what else you could be doing, I think that would be pretty eye-opening and probably open up some opportunities for new services at the credit union.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. So it sounds like your approach is a broad approach. You're collecting information from many stakeholders, understanding what the inventory is, both for the credit union and the whole marketplace. So that's great. It sounds like that's more likely to produce a strategic solution rather than just a tactical solution with that. So as you well know, there are many technology solutions available today. So what should credit unions consider to determine the best fit for them?
I'll say kind of two things there. One is you're right, taking that broader perspective is really important. Oftentimes we will get engaged with a credit union who might come to us for one specific problem that they're trying to solve. Maybe their Visa or MasterCard agreement is coming up, or their digital banking is a bit outdated. What we're going to do is we're going to take a more holistic view of the member experience within that. And then balance that with what is the operational or technological impact, right? What technology investment does the credit union need to make in order to support that broader member experience? Right. So I would say that, looking at everything that you're doing more from the lens of the member and then balancing that with the lens of the employee is going to be critical to making some of those decisions. And then, it's tough to keep apprised of everything that's going on in the market. Every day we read article after article, as I'm sure you publish, around what's happening in the industry, and it can be hard to prioritize that. And so working with third parties like CU Engage and others to make sure that you can set a plan in action. So you're walking before you're running. There's a lot of interest right now in what's going on in crypto, but in some cases, credit unions don't even have a payment strategy. And so if you don't have a payment strategy, how do you even know how crypto as a component to that might play a part? And so it's a balance of keeping an eye on what's going on, but not being so distracted with new technology that you sort of forget that there's some blocking and tackling that needs to be done in the near term in order to prepare you for that longer term success, in my opinion.
Great. Thank you. I like the holistic approach. I like the kind of crawl, walk, run kind of approach to tackling this. It's could be overwhelming, but it sounds like your approach, it could be very helpful. So as you work with credit unions to review and evaluate these possible solutions, how do you help credit unions separate vendors from partners?
It's a interesting just terminology shift, right? And so having been vendors, right? I was at PSCU for a number of years and FIS for 10 years prior to that. And our team represents a lot of the vendors in the space. A lot of us started our careers there. We always wanted to be partners. And, I always want to assume positive intent there. It doesn't mean that every vendor is well positioned to be a partner. But one of the things that we want to do is sit down with credit unions and really have an honest conversation and look at it more like a handshake between the two organizations, that it is a two-way street. Sometimes we come in and a credit union thinks they want to leave a vendor because they're unhappy with service or they're, something has happened. And we don't come into a situation and encourage that split, right? The first thing we're going to do is sit down and help them understand, is this something where you can bring this vendor to the table and have a dialogue with them around what it is you really need? And sometimes they actually do need someone else to help with that communication. And honestly, true partnership is ongoing communication and bringing those vendors, right, that are providing services into your strategic plan, having someone on your executive team that owns the relationship and keeps those critical partners informed as to the strategy so that they can be there to support you. It's not, I always thought I would find the one vendor who was doing it all right and shout it from the rooftops. And unfortunately, everybody has pros and cons, but at the end of the day, it comes down to having open dialogue and having a true handshake with your vendors so that they do become partners and they can support your growth long-term.
Great. Thank you. I agree. It's much better to have a solution where both parties are kind of equal partners there and have that handshake, and it's not just a one-way street type of thing. So Jennifer, thank you for sharing with us your insights on the keys to creating a winning approach when hiring third-party providers.
You're welcome, Larry. Yeah, happy to help.
Great. So in closing, thank you for joining us today. If you have additional questions for Jennifer, please see the links in her bio.